We may be closer than ever to recreating some of the most iconic tech in sci-fi history. We've seen hologram technology move leaps and bounds over the last few years. Maybe you caught Jesse's look at 3D volumetric displays a few weeks ago. Now, researchers from the Interact Lab at the University of Sussex have created three-dimensional holograms you can hear and even feel. They call their device the Acoustic Display. Essentially, it's using sound to manipulate a tiny particle that traces out these images. Here's how it works. The display is made up of an array of small ultrasound speakers that produce sound waves, LED lighting, and a 2-millimeter bead. The sound waves keep the bead suspended in midair, and they can manipulate the bead's position. The bead moves around the display too fast for our eyes to see, so what we see is a 3D image. And remember, this is genuinely a three-dimensional image. It doesn't just appear to have depth. That means it can be viewed from any angle. Now, believe it or not, this tech is actually inspired by old-school TVs. You may not be old enough to remember CRT televisions, but they created images with a single color beam scanned across the screen so quickly, our brains registered them as a single image. Another point worth noting, Nature reporter Lizzie Gibney saw this acoustic display up close. She said the images don't flicker in real life like they do on video. But here's where it gets really cool. The speakers can also make the beat vibrate to produce different sound waves, which means these images can freaking talk.
3, 2, 1, 0.
Now, I can't be the only one who immediately started thinking about Princess Leia sending a distress call to...
One of my favorite topics, one of my favorite discussions, one of my favorite conspiracy theories, and I hate the word conspiracy theory because we know who coined that phrase, but I have to say the word conspiracy theory so YouTube puts me in the right algorithm. But one of my favorite conspiracy theories happens to be Project Bluebeam. Now, people, you know it's coming. I know it's coming. Even your peepaw knows that the false stage alien invasion meant to unite all the governments around the world, this one world government, this one world religion, is coming. We all know this. Now, there are some people out there that believe that Project Bluebeam is not going to happen, or they might not even know what Project Bluebeam is, but there are some people out there that believe that far too many people know about Project Bluebeam and the governments will not go through with it. Even though we have a lot of people out there supposedly that believes that the government cannot control the weather. One of the simplest conspiracy theories. There are people out there that are saying that the government does not have the technology or the capabilities to create and control hurricanes. So how are we going to make people believe that the government has technology to control time and space? Maybe that was the purpose behind this whole back and forth about creating hurricanes, so that they can go ahead and easily deny Project Bluebeam. Have you ever thought of that? A conspiracy within a conspiracy. So why am I talking about Project Bluebeam? Well, there's this, and I don't know what you call him. I don't know if you call him a rapper or a pop star or whatever it is you want to call him, but he is another individual within the pop industry promoting alien and UFO imagery. But this time, this individual who goes by Little Uzi Vert takes it up a notch.
Crazy, right? What the fuck? What is that?
Now, you may be saying, who is Little Uzi Vert? Who is this person? And that is fine. You don't need to know who he is to understand that the powers that be are really using media, especially the music industry, to get us mentally prepared for UFOs and aliens. But we have been seeing this talk a lot between 2023 and 2024, especially from the governments. But now they are filling media with subliminal messages. So to promote his latest album, which is basically a continuation of his previous album that had to do with an alien abduction, this is what he does to promote his latest album. Now, there are people out there asking, how did he do this? Some people are saying this was done through AI. Others are saying CGI. but those who worked on this production are saying that this was done through a hologram. There are even some people out there that are saying that this was a real UFO, a real abduction, and they are covering it up with, him having this promotion. But more than likely, this is AI or CGI, because if this was a hologram, this would be some very powerful next generation holographic technology. Now, I'm 100% sure that the government does have these capabilities. They do have this kind of technology. And you really have to ask yourself, what is this second moon really that's orbiting the Earth? It could be some kind of projector. But whether or not they used a hologram, and like I said, more than likely they did not, but it's very interesting that they are saying that they used a hologram, because that is basically Project Bluebeam. Project Bluebeam will show these UFOs in the skies and these other images through holographic projecting technology. So we really have to ask ourselves, is this really the powers that be using another person in the music industry, using more media to give us the truth in plain sight, what they're really doing and what they have planned in the future? Because they love the music industry. They love different kinds of media like TV shows, movies, even video games, but they especially love the music industry, more so pop and rap, to give us subliminal messages, to let us know what they're doing, right? And it's no different than the card game that I feature a lot of times on this channel, where I say that this is not tarot reading, this is not predicting the future, but this card game is just another form of media where they are letting us know what's in store for the future. That card game has quite a few cards that feature UFOs and aliens that may also hint to Project Bluebeam, which I may do another video on. Now, there's also some people out there saying, like I said, who is little Uzi Vert? Why aren't they using a bigger pop star to promote this UFO and alien agenda? And basically, the 2024 VMAs was like a welcoming party for UFOs and aliens. And I've spoken about this previously, where we had Taylor Swift wearing a UFO shirt or dress, and that was all over the news. Then we had Katy Perry singing her UFO alien song, coming through a portal, acting like an alien surrounded by these gray entities. Then we had the next biggest pop star that they are propping up, Sabrina Carpenter, kissing an alien on stage. So again, it seems like they use the VMAs to celebrate what's coming. So it's not like some random person in the music industry that they are using to promote this agenda, but we see it all over, and not just in the music industry. We have the 2024 closing ceremony of the Olympics, where they're showing us these entities crossing over from this portal, which is very eerily reminiscent to what they were showing us during Katy Perry's performance at the VMAs. But it's not just the music industry or Hollywood, but it's also the government. It's also the news. They have been talking nonstop about UFOs and aliens, really beating this discussion into our heads for a reason. And we would never see this type of discussion from the government 5 years ago, 10 years ago. But like I've been saying, between 2023 and 2024, this discussion has been really ramping up. Remember the whole Miami Mall alien story, and then we had these aliens on this Brazilian hilltop, and then we had these whistleblowers. Then we had this family in Nevada where these UFOs and these 10-foot tall aliens crashed into their backyard. Then we had Donald Trump going on Joe Rogan's podcast talking about UFOs. Reading this article from The Hill, it says, amid the political spectacle of the election, former President Donald Trump appeared on Joe Rogan's popular podcast and spoke about UFOs. According to Trump, Air Force pilots told him how mysterious spherical objects outperformed one of the most advanced fighter jets America has. Then there's this giant mothership we keep hearing about from the Pentagon, from the government. There's this wing of the Pentagon that deals in UFOs that said that there could possibly be this giant mothership lurking in our solar system, sending tiny probes to Earth. But we have been hearing more and more about this mothership lately than you realize. What's coming out from the news is that there were flashing UFOs seen near Air Force Base in Indiana, I believe, where a huge 20-mile long mothership was spotted. So they were saying that there was this 20-mile long mothership that was near the Air Force Base, yet nobody took any photos, nobody took any videos. But apparently they want us to believe that there is this mothership now lurking on Earth. Now, and you know what's funny is that all this alien and UFO talk, all this imagery, all these sightings, all this talk from the government is happening around the same time that World War III is about to break out. And that is one of the steps of Project Bluebeam. That Project Bluebeam will happen around World War III or during World War III. Then at the end of everything, we have the 2030 Agenda, which you can read for yourself on the United Nations website. So the timing lines up perfectly. Dozens of locals have reported seeing mysterious lights in the sky above Grissom Joint Air Reserve Base, Indiana, and one may have found a huge rectangular mothership. But talking about this mothership, because it's no longer just UFOs, but it's also the mothership, news has come out that Pentagon chief reveals high-resolution photo of a UFO mothership, a huge mini-city floating in the sky. And we also heard about this large UFO city, like it was as big as a city, making its way to Earth, and people heard this from Alexa. Now, make no mistake about it, when I make these style of videos touching on Project Bluebeam, I'm not saying that entities don't exist. Of course, I believe that there are other entities. One of the very first videos I made on this channel was about shadow people. I believe shadow people exist. I believe higher and lower dimensional entities exist. I believe all style of cryptids may exist. But when we have these aliens, these UFOs that are attacking humans, attacking Earth just out of nowhere, we better believe that it's definitely coming not from outer space, where they want us to believe that these things come from outer space, but these things are definitely made in the lab. All I'm saying is just rather interesting timing, where they want to push this 2030 agenda as fast as they can, this great unity between all these governments, and the way the world looks right now, unity is the last thing on anybody's mind. And how are they going to get there? Well, they need this common enemy. And so we have all this UFO and alien talk that they are pushing on us. And again, they want to meet this 2030 agenda deadline. So many people are going to be fooled and deceived by this. And it's going to be so sad. So sad. But in any case, thank you so much for watching. If you like this channel and you want to see more, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please like, as any engagement does help the channel grow. Once again, thank you so much for your support.